So I really appreciate you coming on my YouTube channel. My name is Jonathan. I'm a confidence coach for men, and I coach men who suffer with social anxiety and shyness, and I help them to build confidence with people and all aspects and all areas of life. I've been coaching now for almost 11 years. The reason why I look so young and handsome is because I use a certain cream for men. I swim regularly, I go gym, I eat a lot of salad, fruit and salmon. There's some truth in that. No, but seriously, this is my passion. It's always been challenging for me coaching other people because naturally growing up I was very shy. I was an introvert. I still have introverted tendencies, which I'm proud of now, and I suffered with crippling severe social anxiety. I was really nervous around people. So my passion to coach and teach other people, it comes from suffering, being ashamed, really struggling, having depression, at times having suicidal thoughts back in the day, but making progress, overcoming it, transforming my life and just being so happy and confident. And I'm so happy today that I feel good in myself and confident. So it really comes from knowing how my clients feel. Now, if I didn't go through having anxiety like my clients, I couldn't do my job. I know that for a fact. Even though, you know, everyone's different. Some people have got a passion to teach and they enjoy it. And I've always had a level of passion for teaching because it always made me feel good and honest to help other people. But my job would be, it's already hard and challenging, which I actually enjoy and appreciate. Just the nature of having to coach people and help them and sometimes tell people the truth. People don't always want to hear the truth, but when they're paying you and you want to help them to change their life, you've got to be honest with people, and my clients appreciate that I'm honest with them. But certainly later on, and I appreciated that my mentors were honest with me, even though it sometimes hurt my feelings at the time. So I don't speak from textbooks, I don't speak from theory, I don't speak from things that I've read from other experts. I speak from real lived experience, from someone who had such a bad disorder. You know, in my 20s, I was afraid to come out of my house in case someone looked at me and judged me, or in case people knew that I had issues and anxieties. I was so frightened of people, of life, of coming outside of my house. So just to have, just to be where I am today, not even a few years ago, in some of the things that I achieved, and I really don't want to, and I don't enjoy bragging about, oh, you know, I built a successful business, or I made money, or I got a girlfriend. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with that, but it doesn't make me feel great. I don't have to keep announcing that. But these are things that I did do. But the things I'm more proud of now is the gratitude that I have as a person. Obviously it comes with age, and the fact that I appreciate just being able to speak with my family, to the fact that I can coach other people. So I have a big appreciation. Anyway, what I wanted to teach you today is I wanted to share some of my life story, because I know it will help you a lot if you're battling with social anxiety and you feel lost. And I did a free meetup recently, and there was a guy there who suffered with bad social anxiety, and I asked him, I said, if there was one thing that I could help you with next time, what would it be? And he said, I feel uncomfortable around people, and if there's any video or event that you could give, or any advice that could take away that horrible feeling, or the way that what would it be? And I went away and thought about that, and I've got the answer, and it's from my life experience. So I'm digressing a bit here. It starts happening, you know, when you get later on in life, you start telling war stories and tangents, but there you go, that's growing old gracefully, right? So anyway, I'll take you guys back to a time in my life. Wow, I never ever thought I'd share this. I never thought I'd have the courage. It feels great to share it. So I wanted to box when I was younger. I was in my 20s, and I grew up watching boxing with my dad, like most young men. You know, my dad loved boxing, so I loved, you know, spending time with my dad and watching the fights. You know, Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, later on Kawasaki, Hatton, etc. Then the Americans, Mayweather, Pacquiao. So obviously, like most young guys, I wanted to prove that I could box, etc. But I had huge fears around boxing. I was terrified of getting knocked out, getting embarrassed. This all contributed to my social fears. So When I joined Fitzroy Lodge amateur boxing gym, excuse me, sorry. Sometimes you've got to breathe when you're telling the truth. I tell my clients there's nothing wrong with having a breath. So when I joined Fitzroy Lodge Amateur Boxing Club, I was nervous going down there, really awkward and just scared to walk in the gym. I managed to do that. I always wanted to overcome the fear of the sparring. For those of you that don't know what sparring is, some people say sparring's not fighting. I don't fully agree on that. It depends on how hard you go. Sparring is when you've got a head guard on, you put a gum shield in, you put on boxing gloves, you go into the ring and you do full contact. You know, there are different types of sparring. The sparring I done was punching in the face, body. There's a referee there, obviously, to, you know, make sure that you don't, you know, no one's going to get like really, really hurt or injured at a certain point, but you still get hurt. So, I didn't know how I was going to react, right? Because obviously I'd never done sparring in the gym before. I'd, you know, play fighting with friends and my dad and stuff. So when it came to my turn, when the trainer called me in, they didn't know, you know, how I was, what issues I had. But I went in the ring with a guy that was bigger than me, I remember. And I remember, guys, I was so frightened. My fight or flight response was triggered. You know, talk about social anxiety to 1,000 degrees, turning up, you know, the volume, if you can use that analogy. I was terrified, man. Honestly, I'm not embarrassed to say at the time, I was 20, 21 years of age. I remember thinking, you know what, forget being a tough guy. I want to call my mum right now and I want my mum to come and save me. That's how frightened and humble I was. My ego was completely shattered. My legs were shaking, my hands were shaking. I didn't want to look at the opponent in the eyes. I didn't want to see the fear in my face. I felt embarrassed. All my issues came up. That sparring triggered all my past, all of my anxieties. And then when the bell went, I froze up. I couldn't throw punches, and I was a pretty good boxer naturally. I could box, I had a lot of ability. My dad taught me the basics, and even the trainers said I always punch hard. But when it came to the sparring, I couldn't perform, and I felt awful about myself. I felt ashamed. I felt a disgrace. I just wanted the ground to swallow me up. And the trainer said, you know, I think he said, you're very gun shy, it's okay. You know, he gave me a bit of tough love. They realized I was more frightened than the average person. I couldn't do it, right? So they kind of, I moved a little bit. The guy basically took it easy on me, but gave me a bit of a beating because he could see, he felt sorry for me, right? That was a gentleman. Anyway, I've come out of the ring and I just feel like, you know what, my life's over. I'm just a complete loser, failure. I've embarrassed myself. I shouldn't be like that. Anyway, the weeks ahead go by and I couldn't quit. I stuck at Fitzroy Lodge, persevered. Guess what happened? I got better. When I was in that situation, I never, ever believed that uncomfortable feeling that I felt with the embarrassment, the shame, I was paralyzed, I froze up, I couldn't physically throw punches, I couldn't communicate, I couldn't listen to the trainer who was shouting instructions outside. I thought, it's never going to go away. It's going to be there forever. It was horrible. I hated that feeling. I didn't realize that feeling can completely go away or reduce through exposure, what they call, psychologists call it exposure therapy. So I continued to do it. And of course, the weeks ahead, I was a different person. I could move, boom, I could box. And you know, it's not like when you do sparring, they don't say there's a winner or a loser, but you can feel when you get the better of someone. I won a lot of sparring wars and I lost a lot and I got confident. And that experience from boxing and the sparring, going through that embarrassment and getting to a point where I weren't embarrassed and I performed really well, that gave me the tools to overcome my social anxiety in so many situations. I honestly believe if I didn't go through boxing, I wouldn't have had the confidence to start my own coaching business and go out and give public talks. It definitely contributed because there was nothing I'd ever done in my life that was more scary and paralyzing and adrenaline triggering, if that makes sense, you guys will follow me, than the boxing, what it brought for me personally. And obviously it gave me the tools, and obviously I had so much confidence in myself and happiness. And the opposite of shame, which I could probably say was a healthy self-esteem, because of going through a feeling of failure and succeeding. As Les Brown says, failure equals success. So back to the teaching, to answer that guy's question, what he needs to do, or any of you need to do, he needs to keep putting himself in social situations which invoke feelings of not being comfortable around people, whoever it may be. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be a job interview, it could be on a first date, it could be in public, it could be anywhere. It could be on a YouTube video, it could be in an interview, it could be in a group of friends, it could be with strangers, it could be in the boxing gym. And look, is this easy? It's not easy. If it was easy, you wouldn't value it, I wouldn't value it. But like everything, if I can do it, I know it's cliche, it sounds like something out of Rocky 4 when Rocky says, if I can change, everyone can. But it's true, everyone can. I've been helping my clients to do this for years. This is what I teach people. Now, I'm not saying I get my clients and I throw them in a boxing gym and make them spar. I don't necessarily do that. But I help my clients to face fear, especially in this area with social anxiety. And the more they do it, the more they do exposure therapy, the less nervous they are. Then they can speak. And the way that I'm speaking today on this video, I couldn't speak like this now when I first started. My first YouTube video looked like my first sparring session. Froze, got awkward, couldn't communicate, couldn't perform, couldn't speak that much. I kept going. I've made now, I'll give you a rough estimate, I'm not going to exaggerate, I'll downplay it. I've made roughly 3,000 YouTube videos, many more, some didn't get uploaded. So I'm like this because I practiced, only because I went through discomfort, not around it, not skirting around it, not walking on eggshells. And it's no different to all of these different areas, which is why I do like to digress and go on tangents, because I'm so passionate about the truth in this area. And the truth is, if you keep facing social anxiety or any fear, you will overcome it. You will get used to it. That feeling that feels huge will start decreasing. There's two best outcomes that will happen. Number one, you'll completely overcome the feeling. There'll be no anxiety, which is the best solution, and that happens. In some cases, the fear and anxiety will never completely go away, but it will evaporate, it will shrink down, and you can control it. That's the best outcome any person can hope for. So that is the solution to social anxiety. Now, some of you might be saying, and I'll answer the question, I get it a lot, well, would it help me to go and do amateur boxing or go down the local boxing gym and just hit pads in the bag and do a bit of sparring? Would that give me confidence? And I'd be lying if I said didn't. Of course it does, but you don't have to do that. You don't have to go and get punched in the head like I did in order to overcome social anxiety. You can overcome social anxiety by, number one, socializing more. Number two, taking up public speaking. Number three, taking a paid program and doing one of my coaching programs, or if I'm not the right coach for you, getting a coach that is right for you, therapy or coaching or life coaching or coaching for social anxiety, and getting someone to help you and give you support. So you can do it. You won't believe what you can achieve. If someone would have said to me, in that moment when I was in Fitzroy Lodge at 20, if someone would have said to me, in 8 years' time, you would have built a global successful brand and you'll be teaching people around the world and doing public talks and have a girlfriend, I would have said they were crazy. I would have never believed it. I didn't believe in myself back then because I didn't have the experience, I didn't have the knowledge, and I didn't know the things that I know now, and I wasn't strong enough at that particular time. But I didn't realize on the days ahead I was going to get stronger because of the time I spent at Fitzroy Lodge amateur boxing gym with the guys that I really appreciate that helped me. Mick helped me and Mark helped me. The trainers down there, they were brilliant. They changed my life. And obviously all the other coaching that I've done in other areas, and when I became a coach myself in this area of confidence, helping other people help me and going out and challenging myself. So it's basically a feeling that you've got to practice, and it's the one feeling that most people avoid because they're so afraid of it. And look, you're human. Everybody fears intense feelings of fear and anxiety, especially when there's always a chance that you could be judged, you could lose. There is a chance you could be rejected, but if you don't face these things, you won't be successful. So that's the lesson today, and that would be the answer to that gentleman's question who came to my event, and I've had this question many times, and many of you would be asking me this question, and it's something I'm excited about. And I'll leave you on this. The practice is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. When I first got uncomfortable at Fitzroy Lodge in the sparring session, I wasn't comfortable with not being uncomfortable. If I was in that situation now, I would be comfortable in myself, even though I'm not comfortable. So it's a change in mindset, in heart set, and it's a complete change with the way that you relate to fear and anxiety and how you judge yourself. So that's how you do it. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I put up regular content helping men to overcome social anxiety, improve confidence, improve communication, and just to better their lives in all areas of life. Thoughts in the box below, share it with a friend, and as always, if you want to apply for my paid coaching mentorship, my email address is below. Send me an email, I'll get back to you on email. We can arrange a Zoom call or a phone conversation if need be, and I can see if you're right for my coaching, all right? I'll speak to you guys soon. Any questions, or if you want to leave your experiences, or you've improved, or you didn't, something I said enlightened you today, help you, let me know in the box below. I will read the comments and I'll do my best to answer your question in the box below, all right? Speak to you soon.